little bit of change here. This is something a few people have mentioned that I've not done lately. So I'm just going to take you around the layout, do a little bit of a layout tour. Afterwards, I will have some run videos in there. I've been doing some run videos, run some trains. Now I'm kind of waiting for some things. So that's what I'll do. We'll start right here. This is the lead that comes down into my yard. This building here is going to probably be a quick project I'm going to do next. Paint it to match this engine facility here. This is my engine facility that Vinny BNSF 6951 built for me. Let me show it off since I'm doing a video. Usually I have the lid on here to keep dust out, and so in here you see it's got a crane, got everything in here. It holds two SD40s, can easily hold two Jeeps. As you can see, there's two Jeeps in there now. Easily holds that, can hold 3 locomotives out the back as well for storage there. It's got this beautiful crane in it. The crane does move, but you more or less where you want to put it is where it should be. Eventually I'm going to detail this up inside. We're going to have a break area, some safety posters on the wall, and some little details in here, some oil cans and oil barrels, and maybe a crew working on a locomotive. So that's the plan eventually when I get over to this side of the layout. And this building, of course, will be painted to match this. I've got a few paints there, so I think I've got the color he used. Well, it's pretty close to it, so that's good enough. It'll match. Then we come down into the yard. These are Kato number 4s. I have not wired this yard yet. I need a lot of feeders. I need to properly wire this for DCC, which is insulate and power each end. So, but you can see here, this is a nice little size yard. It's very long. Does the job for me. Sometimes you wish you had an extra track or two, but I can make do with what I got easily. So we're moving on down to the yard. This will be an industry here. What I've decided to do with this is we're going to make this like a wheel manufacturer, a railroad wheel bearing manufacturer, and I'm going to have a bunch of these wheels sitting out. Do that really nice. It'll be served by gondolas, so that'll be nice. This will be a nice little different type of industry to switch out. So, and then here we're going to go up into the grain facility lead, which comes into the engineering yard. This may change depending on how the build for the ADM elevator goes and what I'm going to do with it. But there's 2 leads here, pretty long, to store many a hopper on. So that's going to be Pillsbury, actually. And then I did not do a good job with this building, so I'm going to take it apart, and we're going to redo it and make this a grain facility area here. It's going to have a lot of hoppers in there, and that's fine. I need to get a few more hoppers, but that's what it is. So then we come down through the yard here, out through here. This is the yard lead into this industry here, which will be the Hardwood Furniture Company, or maybe Heritage. I haven't decided which one I'll use, but that will be it. This has got to be put up on cork, because the cars do catch here because this Unitrack sits up. That's not a big deal. You won't even know that it's on cork once I get done with it and kind of make this parking lot up to it. It'll look, you won't even be able to tell. So then we roll back here to Northern Lights and Power. I'm going to touch this up eventually here. This will be a nice area. Behind it will be a road that, of course, will lead down to the power, or down to the grain facility. And so we'll come out here, and right here I'll have my signal tower that I have, the radio tower. Here will be a interlocking tower that I'm going to have here. I think this will be a great place for it. Hopefully have some signals in here. If not, I'll use my bridge signal that I have for now, but eventually have signals. And this will be nice. So then I'm going to come down. This will actually come down into the city here. Stick and tire will stay here. It'll be served, trucks will come in here. This will be a road going up here. This will be a bridge going into the wheel manufacturer or refurbisher or whatever it's going to be, but that's what it's going to be. And then this will be another great scene to catch stuff coming in and out of. So then we go down here to the city, and right now we have the station, which of course this is up on cork too, so it'll get even with the rail when I move this up to here. Whoops, probably it'll be close to this. I mean, it'll be right there probably. I'll paint this little edge yellow. Might take some of these cheap Chinese characters off and touch them up a little bit to match better. But some of these are Woodland Scenics characters too, the conductors and stuff that are there. So then we go in here. I have the Railroad Hotel. This is a nice kit that I just did. I think you saw a video a couple weeks ago on this. This will be done. And there'll be, of course, another building next to this through the main street. That's John Tanzillo's done with, so I'm waiting for shipping on it. And then I'll pay him, and we'll get that here in the next week or so. As well as right here will be a strip mall he did for me, too. Can't wait. So, and here we have the Ford dealership, which I scratch built. You see the oil tanks. Did the little accessories on the roof. So yeah, we got to put a parking lot in front and all that. The road, got to put that in. I do use plaster, then I sand it off and paint it. So this whole area is going to be mostly a road with some trees and stuff in it. But then we got the trucking, or the this is City Beverage, so there'll be a trucks here too as well. And of course, the furniture company will be served by a couple of trucks as well too. So that's basically the industrial part of this side of the city. As you come back here, this will be a this will have a couple houses here, I think, at least 3. I'd like to put 3 in here. Nothing fancy, just 3 houses, and there will be a road behind the buildings here for parking and stuff, maybe a park. So there's a lot of stuff to work with here in this area, which I can't wait till I get going back on this again, and I will. So then we come back into this side of the town. And of course, you have the drive-in D's Diner. It's a Woodland Scenics kit, or so I redid it, made it look nice. Actually, built this kit. This is not the pre-built one. This is one I built and did. It's with some details on it, like the flowers and the little pot down here. We'll paint some characters, and we will put that on there. The backdrop, of course, is painted by me. Those are hand-painted trees I painted. Just some background flats that I got off the internet and off of, I believe it was tracksideFlats.com and modelrailroadstuff.com was where I got my other buildings. We come down here. Here we have the Oscar Mayer facility. That is also a background flat in which I made the Oscar Mayer sign. And then we come down here, and of course the corner there, kind of put paper up. I kind of see it, so I have to think of a different method there, but come back, some more flats, just some little details. What's missing here is people, maybe a park bench, fire hydrant and stuff like that. Just little details here, and of course road striping, and this is done. We have the crossing there, which will eventually have crossing signals on it. Then we're just going to follow the main line here to the back of the backdrop. It's an apartment building that is a trackside flat as well. I just download it and print it on some nice paper, cut it out, put it on black foam. This is the same. I got this at the same place. However, I put 2 of these together and made it more 3D, built the roof for it as well. So that's what I did with this. Just some trees in here, and I try to mix my trees as much as I can to give a different look to it. Another background flat, and so we'll just move around here, just put scenery, and there was nothing here. About 2 months ago, this was blank, complete blank canvas. Just these were, a couple of these were sitting up against here, nothing going on. The track wasn't even ballasted or down, none of that. So I went ahead and did all that as well. And of course, there's the big tower. I'd like to get a couple more of these big towers. to kind of run off into the distance here, one way or the other, go to Northern Power, and I think we'll have another one that back here that cuts off and goes one in front of it maybe, and one down a little ways, cutting off into the city or something like that. Just some other little details in here. You got an old abandoned truck trailer used for storage. The signs I made, a lot of my signs, what I do is get them on Google, what I'm looking for, copy, paste them to Word, shrink them down, and then just print them off and use them for, it's just a real cheap, easy method to get great looking signs no matter what area you try to find them. And sometimes you can't, but if you look, you can find them. And this worked out well for an old automotive warehouse. And then this was always meant to be a trackside background flat, because if you come around here, I also have a couple more advertisements on that. You can see an old 7-Up sign. I can't remember what that is. I think it's another AC Delco sign there too, or Crown Royal. And we got the background flat. This is the Walters back shop kit. It was on my previous layout. Not a good modeling job by me. I just didn't put it together good, honestly. So what I did now is I turned it into an old abandoned warehouse, blackened the background so it looks like it's empty. There's a dirt floor in there if you look. Some debris and stuff in there too. If I ever run a light up there, it would look pretty cool. I tried to make that tree look wild, like it was growing up the side. So just some wild growth there. And then we come up here to the corner, back here where that pile is. This will be a railroad scrapyard. I've got some old locomotives and boxcars I don't want. I'm gonna weather them up, and it's gonna be an old scrapyard and a bunch of brush. So that'll be nice. I may change these trees here a little bit too. So now we start up the grade to the backdrop. In the background there you see the mountain. There's the campers camping. If we can zoom in on them a little bit, you can see them there. Yep, they're camping back there. Just another little detail. I tried to mix the trees as much as I could, and a lot of this stuff I reused from my previous layout because I was covering so much distance. There's still a lot of money honestly put into trees for this, but I really, is where I could save money, I saved money. There are some little details I got to clean up and some spots, but you know, for now you can run trains through this and make videos. This rock is just simply foam with plaster over it. Now, what I would have done different today as opposed to when I did this, I would not have used plaster as much. I would have actually cut, like I did back there in the corner, the one with the cross on it. I would have cut these out to make them look like rocks. I think it would have looked fantastic. Now, it was just a modeling technique that I know now that I didn't know 2 years ago when I did this. And we just follow this up. This is about a 2.5% gray, maybe 2.7. It's up there. It comes up to this background flat here. That's just more strips of that foam, kind of made to, let me get it back here, kind of made to look like a rock. And it just follows all the way to the back here to the river bridge, which we'll touch on the river here in a minute. Goes into a tunnel. And we have the mountain here. Now this mountain is made out of foam and crumpled paper. Probably would not have made it this tall now. Probably would have made it a little bit different, but it turned out nice. Waterfall is all woodland scenics. Water effects to make the waterfall. I probably would do a better job now, just watching other techniques and videos. So I look forward to someday redoing a bigger waterfall like this, but there is a lot of detail in it. And it's pretty tall, as you can see here. Let me come back down here. There's another grade in the tunnel coming down. Excuse me. And we come out here over the river bridge. And this town is going to be called River Falls, that you're about to see. And you can see the waterfall in the back. That was my plan when I made this scene. was to have this bridge right here so you could make that nice video. And it turned out really well. A lot of that, that was a Kato bridge, weathered. Looks, I think it turned out pretty nice. So now here we go back up against the rocks up here. And this is a wooden craftsman kit that I made, and plus some other little woodland scenic details. I handmade the fence out of evergreen styrene, used a really small strip and plus the post. Made that fence or the gate there myself as well. Put two sets of woodland scenics cows in there. So I did that. That back there is a Buford Shops cornfield, made up to look nice. This is an old model power barn that I painted and did really detail it. Just painted up to make it look much nicer than it was. And then I put that little pig pen around there, made that out of wood myself. And that's just wood strips glued together and then painted brown and weathered up a little bit. That's dirt in there with a little bit of grass. Some woodland scenics hogs in there. So you see some rolling in the mud there. And then some other Pressler little creatures like rabbits. And there's a couple goats there working on the farm, chewing it up. Here we have the back of the farm, the farmers working the field. This is just really made out of woodland scenic stuff to look maybe like a tomato field or a fruit field or something like that, and that's what they're picking. So then we come down into the town, which is still needing to be worked on. This town is River Falls. I haven't named my other town. So here we have the pump house for town, and that is I don't know what kit that water tower is. It's an old kit. Could be a model power kit too, or it could be an old Atlas. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's an old kit that I've had for about 8 years. So I just kept it on here. This is a Walters building too. Just used it for a pump house or maybe a water something that the water works for the city. Here we have a trackside saloon. I gotta still do some signage for this. I think I do have I do have some signs on here, but we're gonna touch this back up. I gotta fix the cop car. So we got some bikers in the parking lot there that got busted. So then we come down here. This is Walter's Merchants Row 1 and 2. I've got two and one of the 1 in here to make this town. Put woodland scenics trees on there on the little sidewalks like you see sometimes in cities. Right here is this is a design preservation building. I believe that might be Cricket Saloon. I'm not sure, but I made it up to be an A&P. Made the little sign myself, and then I made these off of foam. Made the pop machines, and I did all these signs like I said I did before. Some of these were come with a kit though, so I put them on there. And I painted these little cheap Chinese characters, and I put them on the city sidewalk. I'm going to make quite a few more, but it's just when I make them, I just I want to make a few at a time because it's painstaking to paint N scale figures. So then we have the other side of the city. These all have inside, as you can see, printed interiors. As well as the upstairs. There's some shades and some scenes upstairs as well too. When the time comes, I will light these. Here we have the co-op feed mill, serviced by the railroad, 2 sidings. It services hopper cars. It can hold up to 10 hoppers in there as well. So big on grain. So we come out to the edge of town here, and we have the lumber company. But what we have here is one house with a barbecue scene in the back. And then I have the graveyard. It's just something in a town. We have the town monument made out of a Monopoly character. I think that's Teddy Roosevelt. And then you have the Woodland Scenics funeral going on there. Yeah, I know that sounds morbid, but that's just a little scene in there. So then we come over to the lumber yard, Valley Lumber. And what this is definitely an old model power building that I painted up, made look better. Used the little sign off the top, Valley Lumber. Put that on styrene, as you can see. So made that. I've got to clean this area up a little bit, but I actually hand built this lumber shed, and I also hand built that little office there as well. It was one of my first attempts at scratch building. Yeah, I think it came out okay. I think my next attempt at the dealership was a little bit better. I think even the next time it'll be even much more better of a build than this. And so that comes back around here to the yard, and this will be served, of course, by rail as well. So that does it for the layout tour part. So glad I could show you the layout. I have not done that in a while. Some of my newer subscribers may not know how big my layout actually is, or they just see a certain part that I've been working on for a long time, may not know that it is quite long, and so I try to get most of the video shots I can. Now on the wall, before I go, I'll show you really quick here. So yeah, I do these. A lot of these are my own photos that I've taken over the years. That UP coming through the bridge of Bloomington, that's mine. That NS, that's my own photo I took. A lot of these, all these photos here on the wall are mine. That old one is one from my collection. That bottom one is mine. Tells a story about Bloomington and the yard and where the station was. And so then we come back over here. Got my Super Chieftain. These are all, a couple of these photos, I didn't take those Santa Fe photos. Those photos are all mine. Then I made these little posters for my photos. That one is the one at Penn Central is not mine. These are all mine. Of course, the GM&O are not. They're from my collection, so is that. But we come down here, ICG, my favorite railroads. So these are all actually my photos here, except for that bottom bigger photo. That's not mine. But yeah, these are all my photos here that I've taken over the years. A couple of these are from a collection that I had my dad gave me here, and I put them on the wall, of course, ending with my clock. And I do actually have a railroad crossbuck that came off the Conrail here in town, and eventually it will be it'll be put up. So that concludes the layout tour. And guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's going to be a little long, but kind of went over where I'm at and what's going on. I haven't done that for a long time, and you can see if you go back way back, and you see the progress from over the, probably been working on this layout for over 2 years, just about 2.5 years. So getting there, but you're never done. So guys, enjoy this layout tour, and I will catch you guys Thursday on On Track Thursday.